Hello, 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 beautiful lights. Wonderful to be in your presence this evening. I hope you are well. Yay, it is Wednesday, and so that means we are halfway through this week, right? More than halfway. Oh my gosh, we've made it, right? We've made it. So welcome as people come on. Wonderful to have you here. Go ahead and put your comments. I'd love to see your emojis, all that good stuff. So thank you so much. Oh my gosh, my heart is just like lighting up seeing the people that are coming on. I have tears of joy. Thank you for coming on. Oh, it's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful to have you. And as we're coming on, hi Heidi, wonderful to have you. I seriously, do you want to see these tears? I have tears of joy seeing you guys jump on. Hi Lucretia, wonderful to have you here. Hi Brenda, yay, look at your emojis, I love them, thank you. Some of my favorites. Hi Lexi. Hi Lexi Lou. Her green hearts. I love that so much. Yay. And I love as you guys are coming on and with the emojis and whatnot. And even, Lexi bringing in the green hearts. I just think, oh my goodness gracious, our hearts, us empaths, us clairsentients, right? It's our hearts that are just, oh my gosh, bigger than life, right? So hi, Christy. Hi, Jacqueline. Wonderful to have you all here. Oh my goodness. So I can feel you. Oh my goodness gracious. I feel excitement, and I also feel just this wonder, this curiosity. So being an empath, what does that mean exactly? What do I do? And as you're hopping on, I'm just thinking, yes, every person that came on, I'm like, you're an empath, you're an empath, you're an empath. So welcome to the Empath Club. We should just have a club, right? We should just have a club. So as people are coming on, go ahead and put your comments and hello, love your emojis. And I was just sharing to people that are just coming on that I could just feel you all. I could just feel, and that's the empath in me, right? And the empath in you, just this excitement and this curiosity. And hi, Hope, good to see you. Yay. Hi, friend. Hi, Teresa. Look at her. Look at all the hearts and the loops. I'm loving them. So wonderful, so wonderful, so wonderful to have you on. And those of you who have hopped on, I just feel like I can feel you. I almost feel like I'm resonating at the same level as all of you. And it's this buzz. It's almost like if you were all here in this room, there would be this incredible buzz, right? I wish, right? And we're just going to have to plan that, like the Empath Club. We need to get together. And so go ahead and put your comments, go ahead and put your questions, anything that comes up. I'm here for you. We got this. So it's wonderful to have you all here. Thank you. And I just need to say a huge humbling thanks. And I feel like this is coming from spirit for you being here and for you utilizing your gifts to help others in this world. And as you're hopping on, I know that you are an empath. You are what we'd also term a clairsentient. So you're the feelers. And I just feel like Spirit's thank you. Thank you for stepping up. And thank you for, I hope that's a great question. Hang out with Spirit. Hang out with Spirit. Yes, the Empathic Club. Yes, absolutely. Empathic Club, absolutely. Woo woo, here comes Heidi. I love it. And so, we have been given a tall order, really. And I'm sure a lot of us have felt, okay, got it. I got it, Heidi. I think I read it the way it was supposed to come out. Isn't that funny? Autocorrect, you're like, oh. So I love this. So comments, questions, whatever. And so with this empathy, with being empathic, yay. Okay. Yes. So Jacqueline's I'm hoping my spirit guides will step in, and they're already here. Okay. So they're already with you. And with this, I love the questions that are already coming in, and I hear you on so many levels, because as we look at our childhoods, I think there are so many of us that wanted to fix, and so many of us that wanted to change things. So many of us that felt our parents or our siblings or our classmates and didn't quite know what to do with that. And so I hear what you're saying, Hope, as we start gathering all of this, as we start gathering people's stories, people's emotions, people's thoughts over and over and over. It's like we collect them and we hang on to them, okay? And so for me, you know, I throughout my teenage years and into my early 20s, I became so empathic and just took on so much that all I could do to survive was to numb it out, right? And so, oh gosh, you saw me at the bar. Yes. And I had a good time at the bar, right? And I loved it, and I love to still go, you know, it's all good. It's just that I went to the extreme because I was trying to just numb out everything that was coming at me. And so I feel like there's a time and place for any, you know, any of this. And at the same time, I think some of us empaths or clairsentients, we take that to the extreme because we're just like, I'm feeling way too much, okay? And so as we're here together, you know, thinking back to your childhood, thinking back to those times when you felt parents, let's say you felt your parents arguing, you felt perhaps the tension in the room as you walked in. So as we're growing up, and something that we're perfect. That's exactly where I'm going, Lucretia. That's so perfect. How not to soak the negative. So perfect. I love that Dalton is amazing. Okay, everybody, Dalton is amazing. Lucretia's little boy, oh my gosh, he's incredible. And so that's part of the live, is to be able to protect ourselves. And so it's super interesting that I'm sharing almost like having the adults in the group go back, right, to where Dalton is, okay? And that he is taking in so much energy, and we were always taking in energy. And so we didn't protect ourselves. So I love that this comment came in just as, you know, we're moving into that. Yay, Brenda, right? Okay, yeah. And so, you know, as we're moving through all of this, what we didn't know then, and what we get to tell Dalton and others his age and younger what they can do in order to assist themselves being an empath and being able to protect themselves. And so I love Peggy's like, I go to my room, I play my music because you couldn't stand the yelling. Yes, yeah, absolutely. And so that is one way of being able to protect yourself, and I think that's so wonderful. And I love this group because on so many levels, I mean, for so many reasons, I just love you all so much. And I appreciate you all just stepping forward and harnessing what needs to be harnessed and embracing what needs to be embraced. And it's interesting because as I'm flowing with all of this, I love it because you're coming in with these comments that are so perfect timing, like perfect timing. And so as we're moving forward with this discussion, I just need to say hi to my husband. He's not here right now, but he's watching. Hi, husband. Hi, Dave. It's wonderful to have you here. See, tears of joy. So there he is. Look at those little hearts. Mwah. I love you. I miss you. Him and my son went up north for work. Hi, thank you. Yeah, so thank you so much for all the comments that are coming in, and just with that, it's so synchronistic, you know, as we're all talking about this. And really, I just feel like me giving you the information and you all being here, I feel like I'm just I'm here and I'm giving you the knowledge and the understanding of maybe stuff you already have, and also orchestrating you all, okay? Right, and those of us who would cry at the drop of a hat, right? And so then with those emotions that were coming out, it was almost like we were seen as somebody that that just couldn't handle things, right? And so Jacqueline as well. Jacqueline's like, I went to my room as well. I did too. the thing of it was, growing up for me, is that the radiators amplified the sound when I went to my room. And so with that, some of the stuff that, some of the heated discussions and that type of thing that were happening, I was absorbing them, okay? And so I love how Peggy, you brought this forward, Jacqueline brought this forward, of being able to remove yourself and being able to move out of the situation. And that's what us empaths have to do. And so as Dalton steps forward, 13-year-old, oh my gosh, it blows me away, Lucretia. It blows me away. And I know you know this. He knows his guardian angel. He's able to pull in angels. He's an incredible, incredible empath. And it is about protection. And it is about being able to encase ourselves and make sure that we're not absorbing that negativity. And I think this is a really good segue as we're moving into that. Lucretia, I just feel like that was the end of our conversation at the end of our session this last week. It was almost like, so how do I protect myself? And so we're going to get into that. Hi, Carly. What oil's in the diffuser? I love this. So Dave... Yes, absolutely. This is so good. I love this. You guys are like, you're perfect timing all the way around. So in the diffuser, I have Young Living Lavender. And so with that is very grounding for me. And that is very helpful for me to be able to center and focus. And so with that, some of you growing up, I'm just guessing, it was hard because you cared too much, right? You cared too much growing up. And I remember watching Sesame Street, and there was this awesome kid that put this lion costume on. It was a cartoon, and he just said, I don't care, and this whole thing was about not caring. And I remember being so young and just being like, I want to be him. I want to not care. And it's not necessarily like not caring for people. It's more like it's just when you care too much, it's so overwhelming. And I just remember looking at him being like, do I just have to put a lion costume on and then I won't care so much? Like, because I care way too much. Okay. So I feel like, as you all know you're empaths. You all have your stories of being an empath, right? I just feel like you know you're an empath. Empaths, we absorb energy, we absorb emotions, we absorb thoughts. Perfect strangers come up to us and tell us their entire life story, right? Peggy, yes. And caring so much, it hurts our heart, right? And so I love how Lexi came in and she's like, how about the green hearts? I love how she comes in with that, because it is about protecting our hearts, and it is about protecting ourselves, and also still serving. And I think with that, it's because we want to help. We want to fix. And so I love that I have, it's interesting because I feel like I have several audiences here. And if Dalton is watching, Lucretia, I just feel like here I have this young child who is not being veiled, who is asking for solutions to being an empath. And then I also have adults who we're on the other side, and we've been inundated for so many years, and we're like, what do I do now? What do I do now? I've been swimming in emotions for so long. What do I do now? Right? And so as we're all coming forward, I feel like, I'm painting the picture of what happened in childhood into teenage years, perhaps even into, not for Lexi because she's only 18, but perhaps into our 20s, in that all of this was an accumulation, okay? And you beautiful ones that are so young, let's make sure it doesn't become an accumulation, okay? I think that's first and foremost. And that's why I'm bringing some of the adults back to your childhood, so that we can say, oh my gosh, I've been gathering, emotions, thoughts, people's stories for a lot of years now. Okay, Jacqueline. Yeah, so people see our light. People want to talk to us. People want to be in our energy. Carly, I love this. Oh, honey, yes. Right? I totally agree with you that feeling other people's emotions, radiating off of them, was just part of the human experience. I totally hear you. And with that, it's almost like we're just assuming that everybody's feeling these emotions. Everybody's has like the perspective taking that we do. I feel like being an empath, I can feel what people feel. I can feel hurt. I can feel anger. I can feel frustration. And it's overwhelming. And I assumed everybody could feel that. So thank you for bringing that forward. And yeah, and Jacqueline's very young too, 23, absolutely. And so with that, I remember going to a mentor in my early 20s and just sharing that with her. I was like, does everybody feel this? And then at one point I realized it came to this epiphany, right? And I was just sitting there and I was just kind of staring off into space, and she was just like, what is it? And I said, not everybody can read people's minds, can they? Right? And it was such an epiphany to me where I was like, wait a minute. Other people are not doing this. Other people are not doing what I'm doing, right? And I feel like you all can relate to this. And so Lexi, that's really sweet. I feel like such a child. And Lexi's she's an old soul. Like, it's incredible. And it's wonderful too with Dalton nearby to have this other old soul, in a young body coming forward as well, and us being able to cultivate and embrace and assist all of you. So knowing this about ourselves. So one thing that I feel that we need to do on a daily basis, that I tell my spiritual advising students, and those of you who are on, you're like, yes, she does. Okay, is to get rid of those energies. Okay. And so I feel like on the nose, did you see that? I feel like with Dalton, he already knows right now he can pull in some of these negative energies, right? And we feel it as well. It's just that there are times that we're, as adults, we're so busy and moving throughout our life that we're not realizing how many thoughts and how many negative emotions and how much we're pulling in of other people's stories, right? And then, other people's stories kind of start meshing with our stories, right? And so we're not realizing that. So first and foremost is to do sweeping. And so, sorry, I'm just thinking back to a conversation I had earlier. So with sweeping, there's a few different ways of sweeping. And so one of the ways is to just do that full body sweep, okay? So just put your hands over and just sweep it right off you and flick it, okay? Just to get rid of it, okay? And so this, a lot of times I'll do this at night. I'll also do this after I do my Reiki in the morning. So I'll do my Reiki, and then any toxins that I just treated, I'll get rid of, okay? And so with that, with these different techniques, this and also just cleansing, clearing, and that type of thing, this has assisted me with being able to be in the world and not feel like I need to numb myself out from the world, okay? And so again, like that sweeping, okay? And another thing that you can do is called slatting. So you're going to slat, and you just put your pinky and your thumb together, and you have them go across all your fingertips. So this one is super awesome because people don't notice it. Like, you're not going to put your hands up. You're going to have it down by your sides, right? And you're just going to go. People don't notice that. And so that's really good. Like, there are times that I feel, let's say I'm at the grocery store, or I'm at a restaurant or something like that, at the clinic that I work at. And I just feel like there's times where I feel like anxiety or something like that. And I know if I wasn't feeling anxiety before that, and there was no known cause for this anxiety, I know I picked it up from somebody else. So I'll just sweep, done. Okay. And so, I feel to tell Dalton that as well. Like, as soon as you feel that negative energy, done, just get rid of it. Get rid of it. You don't need it necessarily. And I feel like we want to be fixers, okay? It's okay to get rid of the energy, because then we can fix. Then we are able to have our cup completely full. And I think, you think about that with, the airplane, when you're on the airplane and the stewardess are talking about the oxygen masks coming down, and put your own oxygen mask on first before you assist somebody else, right? So we got to get rid of that energy before we're able to assist, if we're called to assist. And so even with being able to release that energy, it's almost like a a first responder. Okay. So I was a first responder for a few years, and I needed to have my stuff together so I could go into an accident scene or into a crisis of some sort, and I could act, right? I couldn't take on that anxiety. I couldn't take on the trauma of what was happening. I needed to make sure I was protected and going in. And so I feel the same about being able to be completely ready for action, okay? And so coming back to, it's okay to get rid of that energy. It's all good, okay? Because then we can act. I feel like some of us empaths are like, but I can feel it, and I feel like I should feel it. But that's not necessarily true. It's a good radar, but we don't need to absorb it, okay? So it's a good radar, but we don't need to absorb somebody else's energies, okay? So the sweeping is really good. The slatting is really good. And also with that, I'm almost feeling, they keep having me take these deep breaths. And so with that as well, oxygen is really good, and so is water. And I know that sounds so maybe like cliche or something along those lines, but that as well is going to help flush stuff out of us, right? So taking this deep breath and getting this oxygenated, getting the oxygen and creating that oxygenated blood, then that can go through my system and I can be calm with that, right? So those deep breaths are allowing me to do that. And then I'm getting rid of any toxins. And so that's kind of the first and foremost that we're talking about right now with being an empath, is just to get rid of, okay? And you think about how many stories we've collected, how many thoughts we've collected, how many emotions we've collected, okay? And so that's why I'm like, yay, we get these young ones and we can go ahead and be like, sweep now, slat now, get rid of it now, So there's not an accumulation. And so they're healthy moving into, late teens into early 20s, when it seems like that kind of stuff just kind of starts accumulating. And that's really where I noticed that I needed to numb it out. And so, there are times that we're carrying this for years upon years upon years upon years upon years upon years, right? And so really just to get rid of it, okay? Just to release it. We don't need it. So with that too, we've talked about the protection techniques, and so to be able to protect yourself in some way, okay? And so it's interesting because they're shooting me off on this vein that just happened to me recently, and I'm kind of asking them why. Like, I want to be logical and sequential, and let's go further. And they're like, tell them this story. So this is funny. So my spirit team is like, tell them this story. So I was on vacation with a friend, and she wanted to take a picture. And, like at attractions and whatnot, there's people taking pictures, and they're, I don't know, like they just don't get out of the way. They're like, they take the picture and then they're like, hey, come here, look. But there's other people that want to take a picture, right? And so they had taken the picture, and she said, excuse me, like that. And it wasn't horrible by any means. I was like, good for her, she's speaking her truth, she's going to take the picture. And I heard plain as day, the thought just went from the man that she was saying excuse me to. Oh my gosh. And this is what I heard: boy, she's a bitch, right? And I was like, and I'm like, that wasn't me, and it was like plain as day. And then she comes over, she'd just taken a picture, and she goes, I just want to let you know, I'm not a bitch. And I'm like, I didn't say that, right? But what happened was, she's so empathic and so able to, I was pulling in his thought, she was pulling in his feeling. And she said, he thinks I'm a bitch. And I'm like, how did you know that? And she goes, I can feel it. Right? And so we are pulling in information in whatever way, whatever capacity we need to at that point. So as I was pulling in that he was calling her a bitch, I was like, and then I was like, but it wasn't me. Do you see like the panic? Like, did you see like my eyes got really big? And I was like, it wasn't me, kind of thing. And I was just kind of like startled that all of a sudden I had this thought, and I was just like, but that wasn't my thought, And so recognizing that, first of all, we're taking in information various ways. So she's very empathic. She's like, I could feel it, and I'm like, I heard him, And so recognizing what's another person's and what's ours, okay? And so you saw like the panic that I kind of went into. And so as I heard his thought, and I was like, that wasn't me. And I could discern it wasn't me. I also need to make sure that with that, if I'm feeling something come at me like that, and it's not purposeful, right? It's just because I'm an emotional sponge, I'm a thought sponge, bring it on. That's when I would go ahead and slap my fingers, okay, and sweep it away and be like, oh, I don't want any more of his thoughts, because I not only felt his thought, I also felt the emotions behind his thought, and I also didn't want to get blamed for his thought, okay? And so I took on his thought as if it was my own, but it wasn't. So I hope that makes sense. And if you have any questions, just put them in here. I just saw Renee's, what do you do if you're an empath and a broadcaster? And very good. So I hear you. I was a radio DJ, and I hear what you're saying, and also, the Facebook Lives and whatnot. And so you're an empath. And so really being able to protect yourself from that, from people kind of just wanting your light because they're feeling it, they're feeling that light. So protection, and we'll go into some of the protection techniques as well. And I hear what you're saying. And there are times, let's see here. So there are times, let's see, John Edwards, another medium, and he had like reruns on at night. It was on at 11 o'clock at night. And he would go to bed, and it was his reruns. So his shows came on at 11 o'clock every night, and I think they aired for an hour or two. And every morning for a week, he'd wake up and he was exhausted. And he realized at the end of the week that what was happening was these reruns were coming on at 11 o'clock, and people were kind of clawing at his energy just by watching, okay? And so he realized, gosh, I need to put on extra protection because my essence or my presence is being out there and is being watched again and again and again. And again, it's not purposeful. So I just want to put that out there as well. People just see the light, love the light, want to be part of the light. And so they just start taking as much as they can. Okay. So it really does come down to those protection techniques. Even as you're, leaving the broadcasting, just to slat your fingers or sweep it away, so that you're disconnected from that. So good questions. Good, Tiffany. I'm glad, sweetie. So we'll get to the protection techniques. Right. So Brenda, yes, I know, Brenda, I'm glad. And it was funny because they were like, tell the story. And so obviously it was for somebody. So about the thoughts. Yeah. There's times we're just picking up other people's thoughts. And I, sometimes, so it's interesting. I went to a medium, and she's like, you're very rule oriented, I'm like rules, kind of thing, which is funny because I was like a little rebel when I was a little child. So I am like that. And I think too, that that's helpful though. So when I am picking up some thoughts that are maybe against the rules, let's say, and I think more it's almost like if somebody's, I'm all about helping people that are, what is the word? Like the I don't know, people that need help, I guess. I don't know how to say it. And so some of the thoughts that I might hear that are against helping others, then I know that those are not mine. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to keep going with that, because since I am, maybe that's not a good example, but looking at my own thoughts, knowing who I am, and then recognizing when other thoughts are not aligning. I think that's probably the bottom line, is just that you, and I know that I want to help people. And so when I hear somebody say, she's being a bitch, I'm like, oh, I wouldn't say that, right? And so recognizing that's not my thought, okay? Oh, Lexi, this is one of those mind blown moments, girl. High five, right? High five. Oh, sweetie. Yep. We're picking up others' thoughts. So if you're watching a movie, absolutely, to Dalton and Lucretia, absolutely, it does affect empaths. Absolutely. Okay. So you're welcome, sweet Renee. Okay. Okay, there we go. So I just want to come back to Dalton. Yes. And so growing up, I, go to slumber parties and that kind of thing. We'd watch the scary movies, and I would be sick for days, nauseated for days. There were times that I put the covers up over my head, and I just remember one morning, I think I'd gone to somebody's house, watched the movie, came home, and I couldn't get out of bed the next day because the movie affected me that much. So absolutely, there's some go-arounds with that, and you can do protection, or just not watch the scary movies. And that's what I've decided to do. So I don't watch TV, I don't watch movies, and even, let's say, like if I'm someplace where there is a TV, I'll turn my back, so I'm not watching TV, because I'm taking in so much. And that's just my my workaround. It's just I don't take that in. So what would you say for people who might intentionally try to take your light? So it's interesting with that, because it feels to me that it's not intentional. And I almost feel like sometimes it feels to us like it is intentional because we're so aware, and because we can do the perspective taking, because we're empathic. And so with that, it's almost as if sometimes I just don't feel like it's here. I don't feel like it's conscious. I feel like it's, so people that are wanting our light, I don't necessarily feel like it's a conscious pull of the light. I feel like they're not quite awake yet, and they're not quite aware yet. And so they're like, oh my gosh, that looks good. And so I feel like I can kind of feel where you're coming from, Jacqueline, almost as if somebody is like, trying to pull you down, trying to knock you down. And with that, I'm almost feeling like it's not as conscious as you think it is. But because we're so, let's say, advanced, hey, woohoo, look at us, then we almost assume like, oh my gosh, why are they taking my light? Oh my gosh, why are they taking advantage of me? Oh my gosh, why are they being mean to me? Oh my gosh, da 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 da, right? And it's almost like it's because they're not conscious, or because they're not awake, okay? So with that, it's almost like there's workarounds, to do the protection, to sweep, to slat, to, just remove yourself from that relationship, which can be hard to do. Okay. Hi, sweet Holly. I saw you. Tiffany, that's sweet. So overwhelming sense of motherly love. Right. I think it's both, Tiffany. So is that because they need it, or am I picking up on their emotions? I think is what the rest of that says. They do need it. And I think that's wonderful that you're able to give that to them. I think it's wonderful. And I feel the same way. I work with kids every day, Monday through Thursday, and then I have my own. And I feel that also. Like there's just some kids that I'm just like, gosh, they just need some motherly love, And also picking up on their emotions. Some kids, it's interesting, some of the kids that just really need attention, just really need attention. They have a lot of siblings or something like that. And I have this one little boy, and he's just now coherent with his speech. I think I've been working with him for 2 or 3 years. And, but he would turn my face, like he would make me pay attention to him. And that's the insight I got, was he just needs somebody to pay attention to him. And so, yes, I think on both levels, I think they need it. And I think also you're probably picking up on quite a bit. And I think too, since you work with adolescents, like such a crazy hormonal time, and I think we do need a lot of nurturance through that time. Like you really think about it, and it's like, oh my goodness gracious, like we need that motherly love. And I remember, adolescence and, just needing nurturance, like just please tell me I'm safe and supported and that kind of thing, as my tribe is changing, right? And so it's wonderful, Tiffany, that you can be a constant for them. You get to be a constant for them of that motherly love, and just to keep sending that motherly love, right? Right, Carly, good job. Right, I have that as a social worker. It's because they need it. Perfect. Thank you. And it's because they need it, absolutely, and because we have the capacity to do that. Okay, and so I just feel like there are times that we can really relate with people, because of that. And I'm just thinking about a session where there was another mom and me, and this other mom and me, we both started kind of weeping, and kind of, just like, wow. And the reason why we were weeping is because we were proud, right? So we were feeling each other, and we were feeling that pride, and we were also allowing for that to be given to the child, like, here you go, I'm so proud of you, I'm crying, right? So yeah, because they need it. Absolutely, Carly, absolutely. Hi, beautiful Holly. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I know, and it's hard. It's hard to leave situations. It's hard, and honey, I hear you. Like, it's so interesting too, because that seems to happen with us empaths as well, is that groups change, or friends change, or relationships change, or that kind of thing. And for a while, I think, just based on my background of having like this, a childhood of rejection, and I want to say it's just because I was from two different families. Okay. So, going to visit, like my biological father and my stepmom, like I was just rejected in that space. Right. And so as I was going through relationships and like losing people, and, us empaths, we love narcissists, right? We love them, right? And so attracting that as well, it's okay as people slough off. It's okay, because we're not necessarily supposed to keep walking with them, okay? We've either learned our lessons or we've done our time, and it's just better for us to be able to walk away. It's just better for us to be able to almost like out of protection for ourselves, and also because we're advancing. Like, I really want you all to know that as people kind of get sloughed off from your life, it is because you're advancing. And so for me, again, I would see it as rejection. Like, oh my gosh, like, why did somebody so-and-so just leave me? Like, what is this? What's happening? And it wasn't out of rejection. It was almost out of safety. It was almost out of, I feel like it was Spirit's way of protecting me and allowing me to advance. And then, you always find, I think about that. You just always find who you need to find. You find who you align with. Hi, Angelica. Hi, Beauty. Yeah. So I want to get back to Sarah's. Very motherly love towards one of your coworkers. Very shy, just want to embrace him and show him love. And absolutely. And to be able to do that, to be able to send that we can do that as light workers. We can do that as empaths. We can send it. And also, like, with that sending, it's almost like just to send it, and if it's received, it's received. I hear you, because there's a fellow that I've worked with as well, and it's interesting because I didn't quite understand. Almost like he was very attention seeking, and I didn't really get that. I was like, why is he so attention seeking? And I got this clairaudient hit as I was walking down, walking across, crossing paths with him, and all of a sudden, somebody in Spirit said, he's very insecure. And I was like, whoa. And so him needing all this attention, like, it was a little bit irritating to me, because I'm like, you're an adult. Why do you need all this attention? And then to hear that, I was like, oh, thank you. Because then I was able to, shift that and be like, oh my gosh, it's because he's insecure, and I'm able to I'm able to send these feelings to him of security. It's okay. You're safe, and I'll send that to you, and you don't always have to have attention, right? You don't need to seek that attention. Just know that you're safe and you're supported and you're loved. So I hear you on that, Sarah. It's like being able to share that, and he only talks to you. Wow. Right, Sarah. So he feels very, very, very safe with you. Very safe with you. So coming into, and again, just drop stuff in. Okay, you guys, moving into, let's see. First, they're sharing this. I have like some little goodies behind me. Also with sweeping, or also with clearing, is to be able to, I have sweetgrass here. And so I've shared before, you can light, sweetgrass or sage, and then allow that to sweep stuff off. Also be aware that objects take in people's emotions, objects take in people's thoughts. And so with that, we can also sweep and cleanse that as well. So I've shared this before, that when I moved into this house, I didn't feel it at first, but as I went more and more into my mediumship skills and whatnot, I heard a family arguing. And I was like, wait a minute, because I knew it wasn't spirit. So what it was that our house still had the energy of this kind of this fighting family. And so I was able to use the sweetgrass and the sage and just go ahead and sweep out those energies, okay? The quickest is just to go ahead and slat. I mean, even if I go into somebody else's house and I'm like, oh gosh, I felt something there, you know, and I leave, I'm just going to go ahead and slat, okay? So moving into protection, okay, moving into that protection mode. So I feel like, you know, a lot of you have discovered various ways of protection. And so, sorry, sweetie, I just saw that. Brenda, I've been taking meds for years to help me cope with it. I'm kind of, yeah, I get it, Brenda. Yeah. Yeah. And so, you know, anybody else want to chime in? That's perfect. And it makes sense. And it makes sense because you know what you felt, you know, almost like for us empaths, it's like an extreme, right? I mean, it feels like an extreme, like as, you know, crying at the drop of a hat, you know, feeling all of these natural disasters, like really feeling them and being overwhelmed by them, right? And feeling all of the emotions that are going on with that. And so it makes sense, Brenda, like it totally makes sense. Like, wait a minute, like I feel here and I feel stable and I feel like I want to stay here, you know? And so how does that look? You know, does that look like if this is something I feel like I want to do or need to do? How does it look? Does it look like I kind of pull some of the medications out, or how does that look? You know, am I able to find some other maybe replacements, such as protection or such as supplements or such as oils? You know, how would that play out? So I think it's good too that that you're wondering about that. And yeah, absolutely. Others chime in. I feel like that's such a good question. Such a good question. So with that, I also feel like a lot of you have found protective means. You know, Peggy and Jacqueline, they both said, I went to my room, you know, I turned on the music, and that's perfect. I mean, that was protecting to you. You know, in relationships, you know, just leaving the relationships. It's hard, but you're going to find somebody that you're going to resonate at a higher vibration as you leave them, okay? And what's interesting with that is as you leave them, it's really interesting because more doors can open up. And I'm not like advocating like, you know, leave people, not at all like that. But you know, like, you know, if a relationship's not healthy or something like that, you just know that, right? Friendships, coworkers, whatever. And you know, self-preservation, really self-preservation, you know, just preserve yourself. So being able to move, you know, out of those relationships if need be, okay? So also stones or crystals, okay? So I love hematite. I feel like hematite really grounds me. And then I don't know how to say this all the time, but it's like lapis lazuli or lapis lazuli is really helpful as well for protection. So stones or crystals, that kind of thing. Perfect, Danny. Thank you. That's where I was going with that. Make the space for the new that wants to come in. That's exactly where I was going with that. Thank you. That's exactly where I was going. It's, you know, needing to make space for who wants to come in, right? So yes, thank you. Bullseye, girl. And so also with, I love rose quartz, and rose quartz is for the heart. So a lot of times I'll put it on my heart. It's a necklace. Good, Angelica. I've been holding my green calcite all day. It's not a protection stone, but it calms you. Perfect, 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 perfect. And I love this community because I feel like we're able to share, you know, like, this is what works for me. This is what's calming for me. That's so perfect. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. And just how grounding that is. And so with me, like rose quartz, I just love rose quartz, and I'm always, this is a necklace because I love rose quartz. And so like I always get stuff that I can put on my heart, of rose quartz. And so stones, crystals, rocks, you know, start looking up the properties of those, and then seeing if you notice a difference, if you as an empath feel a difference with a particular stone. Okay. Yay, Jacqueline. Yeah, good job, Peggy. Absolutely. See? So, and with that, there's somebody else that's able to come in. There's somebody else that's able to help and care for that person. And so, you know, just to be able to let that person go, it's okay. Felt like a huge weight lifted. And now you take care of very loving people. So perfect, right? So perfect. And just like Danny said, absolutely, you're making the space for something new. And maybe that's part of it too. Like maybe get really excited, you know, like what's out there? Like I just sloughed off, you know, something just got sloughed off. I just cleared something. What's next? You know, what is next? And so I like that. I love that you're along those lines. So keep asking questions, keep commenting. I love this. This is perfect. Any other crystals or stones that people use that they love? For me, amethyst also. Amethyst, I feel like it gives me that clarity. And so after I do my protection techniques, I think it's interesting that they're holding back on the protection techniques. But after I do my protection techniques, I always ask for clarity and confidence. I always ask for those two. And with clarity, I feel like I can, you know, take that amethyst and I'm just like, just clear my mind. I mean, raise your hand. Like how many people here just think and think and think and think, okay? All of us, right? And we're pulling in other people's thoughts. And so I love the amethyst to put on my forehead. Perfect, Lexi. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to say this right. Labradorite bracelet. It's so zappy. All right, perfect. Yeah, so like accessories. And you know what's kind of cool is that people then, perfect, Peggy, rose quartz necklace. People then say, wow, that's really pretty, or tell me more about that. And then you can kind of share the wealth, right? So then you can be like, oh yeah, and just kind of test the waters to see if they would be, you know, this would be helpful for them, you know? And so I love that. Like share the wealth kind of thing. Perfect, Jacqueline. Good. Samantha's like, me? I think a lot. Right. I think we all do, right? We all do. I love that. Right. Okay. Yes. Danny, yes. And so with that, you know, some of these stones can really help, like, just like Jacqueline said, like, just, you know, put it right there. And so, okay. And so what they're sharing also with this kind of the thinking is that, with that, we're also inadvertently picking up others' thoughts, right? And again, I feel like they're having me come back to this for some reason, but knowing what our thoughts are and what others' thoughts are. And so one of the protection techniques I do is with Angel Haniel, and it's to put myself in a pink bubble every morning. And I say this mantra, only positive in, only positive out, only positive in, only positive out. So sometimes like during the day, I might just like be hungry or tired, and I might start, you know, like I'm like just getting a little bit judgmental. Like I'll just like, oh my gosh, what was she thinking when she put that on today? You know, kind of thing. And again, it could be my own, I'm just hungry, I'm tired, whatever. And yet sometimes I don't necessarily think that. Like I feel like I'm a very non-judgmental person. And so when something like that comes in, then I'm like, wait a minute, is this somebody else's? Is somebody else judging, right? And we can pick that up. We can figure that out and then recognize that we can just let that go. Do the slatting, you know, sweep if we need to. Thank you, Carly. I said it right. Oh, I like this. Raise my vibration to a Yoda-like level. So cool. Snarky people do not affect me. Boom, girl. Boom, right? I love that. Yes. And just like that, like moving into like the protection techniques. So, yeah, and just being within that higher level, even like there's times where I'm like, please just let me see this through spirit eyes. Oh my goodness. Heidi and Danny, you are meeting on Saturday. Boom. Okay. So yes, I knew it. Oh my gosh. I knew this was going to be good. Okay, good. So Danny and Heidi are meeting on Saturday. Right. Perfect. For our class. So yay, 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 yay. Oh my gosh. This is so awesome. I love, again, like when these classes come together, it's just like these amazing beings just all, oh gosh, it's like what's meant to be, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, what? You two get to meet each other, like what? So this is going to be so cool. This is going to be so cool. So I want to get back on track, Jack. So yes, through spirit eyes. And so there are times that I'll just say that, like, and I think also, with the fellow who was needing so much attention at work and that kind of thing, I was just like, what is going on, and then to even ask, like, can I see it through spirit eyes, and that's probably when I got the hit of he's insecure, right? And that's okay. Like, ask about some of these thoughts that are in your head. Or is this somebody else's thought, right? And how much gathering we've done. Okay, so the slatting, the sweeping, like get rid of, okay? So we talked about stones. And also, yes, so with the essential oils, can you see this? I'll be like, Vanna, can you see it? So I love having a diffuser going. And again, I have lavender in there. Another one that helps me is Stress Away. And coming back to that Sesame Street story where that little boy got in the lion costume, right? And said, I don't care, I don't care. And some of these oils help me to do that. Like I was telling somebody that knows me really well, Kimberly, I don't know if she's here, but I was just telling her like about this. And I just said, with the oils, I said, some of them, I just don't care. I stop thinking. And she's like, whoa, right? Wow. And so it's a relief, right? So all of these things are a relief to us empaths. It's a relief to us, you guys. Like, why not do the stones? Why not do the crystals? Why not do the oils? Why not do the protection techniques? Why not do the sweeping? It's a relief to us, right? We get to get rid of some of this stuff. We get to release it, right? Even if it's relationships, even, whatever that is, we get to move past it. Perfect. After you left today, good. You were really drawn to getting peppermint and patchouli. Perfect, girl. Perfect. Wow. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. That is so perfect. Somebody else was telling me about peppermint. Oh, I think it was Holly. Holly, we were talking about peppermint today, right? Yeah. So Holly also uses Young Living essential oils. And so her and I were talking about peppermint and, and just really wanting to do so much good. Okay, perfect. Good, Teresa. Teresa also uses Young Living essential oils. Perfect. Diffuse the stress away. Yo, go girl, go girl. Okay, I'm in. Okay, I'm in. That's good. I can feel it. Yeah, so it's just amazing. Also, I have a relative and she is diagnosed with, major depression. And so she's using some of the essential oils to actually assist with that. And it's changing things, okay? And so again, like, why not? Why not? Like, just so we can feel relief, right? We've been taxed for so many years, Another one, I like this. They had me grab my sound bowl. And so I have, this is huge, you guys. This is huge. Ooh. Okay. So this is the root chakra bowl. It's huge. I'm telling you. Okay. So this helps me as well. Sound. So I loved how Peggy and Jacqueline were both, you both said you went to your room, and I think Peggy, you said about the music, right? That you just turn on the music. So music can be so healing and so escaping, right? So like, oh gosh, I just got to get out of my thoughts. I got to get, I just need to get, get grounded and centered. So what I love about the bowl, I don't know if you can see it over here, but it's so grounding for me. So this is another thing that I use, and I'll just go ahead and demonstrate so you guys can feel it. It's kind of neat. It's kind of neat. So I'm already, you can probably just tell like that I just got centered, right? And I'm hoping some of you also did. So why not? Why not do these different things to help us, right? Another thing, along with the protection techniques, is just hands-on, right? So for those of you who do Reiki, those of you who are, just learning about chakras and that kind of thing, we can use our hands for protection and also for being able to center ourselves, etc. Okay? Sorry, this is funny. I'm hearing noises, right? And nobody else is here. And so I'm like looking around like, is that human or is that spirit? So if you hear it too, you let me know. Tell me what you think, if it's spirit or if it's human. You let me know, okay? Watch my back. Diffuser jewelry. Perfect. Yeah, yes, Brenda, absolutely. Yes. And I love that so much. Absolutely. The diffuser jewelry, perfect. Yes. And I got a bracelet from a dear, beautiful friend that I have worn as well. And I love it so much. I'm just like, oh, give me more. Give me more. That's perfect. That's perfect. So there we go. So protection. Okay. Protection. So coming into protection, with looking at that, with hands-on, okay, we can put our hands, oh gosh, sorry, I had a hair on my hand. I'm like, ugh. So we can put our hands wherever we need that relief, right? And so we can do that for our third eye. So just like Jacqueline was saying, like I put the amethyst in my hand and I put my hand up, up to your third eye. We can just put our hands there, and you think about that, like if you're hurting or you have an ache or pain, like you put your hands on yourself, right? So that's another means is of protection, right? And so like with your solar plexus where your ribs kind of open up, you can put your hands there. That's your power center. And you can just hang out there. You can be hanging in the grocery store aisle. You're feeling, some extra stuff coming in. Just put your hands on your solar plexus and protect yourself. Okay. It's like an order. Okay. So that is another way of protection. Okay. Like just being able to do this and just giving yourself that relief, just that relief. I'll do stuff with my heart. Yeah. I mean, I'm just like, oh my goodness, and I'll just have my hands on my heart. Same with, my throat. So I'll also do protection with my throat, or, as I'm in conversation, I might be doing this, and I can be protecting that area. So these are all ideas for doing this. And I think it's interesting that they held off on the protection techniques till the end. And again, ask questions. This is an incredible community. Ask questions, drop in comments, whatever you need. I'm going to go into the protection techniques, and then again, I'll answer questions, or if you have any comments, just go ahead and drop those in. So with protection techniques, they're different for everybody, right? So hands-on can be your protection, right? There's your protection. You put your hands on your solar plexus, that's your protection. Boom. Protection also can be, visualizations. I love one of my spiritual advising students. She has, how does it work? I love this because she puts her angels on guard. Like she's just like, there's like 4 of them and she's just like on guard. And it's almost like that's her protection technique, on guard. And I'm like, boom, girl, get it, Okay, good, Angelica. Yeah, so you are doing the hands on the heart and the womb quite often, and it's comforting, right? It's also protecting, and it's also healing. So perfect. So visualizations are good for protection, just like I said with this gal that did this. Another gal, I love hearing other people's protection techniques. So if you have some, go ahead and drop them in. If you're already doing protection techniques, boom. She has like cheetahs. Okay, like her visualization is cheetahs surrounding her, which I love that. She's just like, nobody comes near me because all the cheetahs, they're just like circling me. I'm like, yeah, get it, girl, right? Okay, what can you tell me about being sensitive to energy as an empath, Carly? I find that if I hear a brass Tibetan singing bowl, the energy is uncomfortable. Right. So with that, I would see what tone it is. So, they all have different tones. They all have different, like a scale, so like the root chakra, I believe it's G. So to be able to look at that, it could be the brass or whatever the metal is that they're using that could be uncomfortable. And also, what tone it is. So I would maybe investigate a little bit more of what tone it is or what note it is. And then I'm being pulled in a couple different directions on that. And one direction is just 2 veins. So those of you who get readings from me or these lives, you know that they send me on 2 veins or 3 veins. Okay. So one of the veins is that particular note could mean that your chakra that correlates with it. So this is the root chakra. It's the note G. If I felt dissonance, maybe I needed some more work on my root. Okay. So it could be that correlation. Another thing that absolutely us as empaths and whatnot, there are certain things that we're not able to, they're sending me a 3rd vein. Ooh, you're good. Look at this, Carly. Look what you brought forward. I like this. So they're also sharing that there's just some things that we're uncomfortable with. So maybe it is, like nails on a chalkboard, right? So maybe it is, the metal, like it's like, oh gosh, I don't like that at all. I don't like what that's doing for me. Okay. Also the 3rd thing they want to say is, and I feel like you're saying all Tibetan bowls, but at the same time, the psychometry behind it, or that all objects have a psychic imprint. Who made the Tibetan bowl? Are you feeling their energies? Are you feeling the person that's doing actually doing the Tibetan bowl? Are you feeling their energies and what their intentions are, and you're nauseated off of that? Okay, so with that, to be able to look at those different avenues or those different venues and see what resonates with you. Oh goodness, I love you guys. I just did my solar plexus. It was on the fire. Right. Yeah. And Jacqueline, you're definitely a healer. So you're feeling the healing properties, which is that warmth, and it was on fire. Boom, girl. You're getting your power back, honey. You are. Lexi, I want to see this. I love to imagine being surrounded by a ring of fire. Boom. Boom. I love it. And kind of badass. I'm just saying, right? So you're pretty much on fire. I'm loving it. Oh my gosh. I love it. I can't wait to see you again. Okay. I love this. So, perfect. So Sarah loves to surround herself with white light, and that the white light is pure and only good can come through it. That's so perfect. Yeah. So these protection techniques are working, visualization, and also like your intention behind it, right? It's pure. Only good can come through it. So similar with Angel Haniel, only positive in, only positive out, only positive in, only positive out. Your intention is that only good can come through this white light. Perfect. So aligning it with affirmations as well. Yeah, I agree, Brenda. Lexi is awesome and a badass. Just saying. So some of the other ones, protection techniques, so one that does come to mind for me, again, I do the Angel Haniel, I do the white light, and then I also really like Archangel Michael's blue cloak, and it just feels kind of heavy with me, and I feel like I'm camouflaged. So for those of you who have been following me, I do that one, and especially if I see a police officer when I'm driving, go ahead and put the blue cloak on, because then I'm camouflaged, right? And so I really like that, and I use that actually. That's my go-to at the clinic that I work at. If there's any, if I feel anxiety or anything like that, I pick up something from somebody else. I'll put the blue cloak on right away. Boom. And I just feel like I don't have that. I don't have that same energy. And then also I keep bringing forward, I love this, but Angel Raphael's golden egg, and just to make it as high as you need it, as low, as down as you need it, and across. And then just recently, it also came in forward and back. And then it came in recently because I was at Comic-Con, and people, like, I had my egg on, right? I had my protection egg, and there was nobody on either side of me. There was nobody, well, above me, I guess, except for the angels, right? Or loved ones. But people kept bumping into me, like into my back. And I was just like, oh my gosh, get away. No, I'm just kidding. I love people. I'm kidding. But I really did want them to back up just a little bit. And so then I was like, oh my gosh, I have to put it forward and back as well. So the egg, I just kind of like put it in all directions, right? And again, it's not necessarily that, and you all know this as empaths, it's just overwhelming to have people in your energy, right? You love people, it's just overwhelming to have them in your energy. So yeah, so any questions, any comments, any other protection techniques? The white light, yeah. Yes, good. So Danny, I'm glad you brought that forward, that you like the white light and sometimes the cloaks make you feel smothered. Yeah. And I think that it is preference. It is so preference, right? Yeah, and I think, Danny, you and Heidi are going to get along like this, is all I have to say. I'm like, dang, now that's a match. I love that. But also, yeah, just it's a preference, and I like that. Some people, with the white light, they don't feel like it's enough, right? Because light doesn't have like an encasing necessarily. It just goes wherever it wants to go. So it's a preference. It's a preference. Yeah, Carly, you and me both, right? Hate people in my aura. Look at you, Sam. Right. Yeah, that you can feel their emotions. Yeah. I love that. And I think that's really a really good way of looking at it. Like, I love to feel others' emotions. And it feels like to me that you're feeling them and yet not necessarily absorbing them and taking them home with you and, that type of thing. So it's good. It's like a secret getting to know you technique. Absolutely. Yeah. And it does, that's what it feels like to me, Sam, is that you have that protection. Like, you're just like, hey, what's up? And so I love that too, because you can glean a lot from people, right? You can glean a ton from people just being in their energy. And so I love that. That feels really good. Absolutely. You're so funny. I feel like I'm the only weirdo, right? Right. And it does. It's kind of neat to feel those emotions. And, in the wide array of emotions too. I love feeling love. I love feeling, proud, like when this other mom and I were like starting to cry because we were so proud, it's like, gosh, I love that. I love feeling some of those emotions. Absolutely. And then not taking them on myself, right? So some of the lower energies and whatnot, which we just do as empaths. So I feel like the protection is super important to do. But I love what you said, Sam. That's so perfect. So any other questions, comments, anything like that? Let's see. Yeah. Okay, good. Perfect, Heidi. Good. Perfect. On the nose. So, thank you for being here. Thanks to all the empaths. We have our empath club, right? Empath club in the house. Oh my goodness gracious. So excited to be in all of your energies. And so anything else you can add in the comments afterwards. I'll make sure I look. And I love this. We're like a party, right? I'm loving it. Now it's like the empath club. We got the angel party. Okay, yeah. So that feels right, Brenda. Yeah, that she is picking up on animals, but not as much as people. More tuned in with them. Yeah, absolutely. And animals. One gal, she loves doing Reiki on animals because animals don't have an ego. I was like, that's cool. That's really cool. They don't have an ego, and so that it just feels good. It's easier sometimes, and I think it's great that she can. And there's a growing hub also, I want to say, of healers with animals that I would love to just get all you guys together, because it's incredible what you're doing as well. So that's really awesome. I'm glad that she's doing that. So you're so welcome, Sarah. I kind of just don't want to leave you guys. I'm like, this is really fun. But we better get on with our night, right? So take very special care, light and love. And then if you have any other comments, I'll go ahead and grab those later. So I love you guys. Have a wonderful night. Light and love. Mwah.